Greetings and salutations, everyone. Check it out. We got new lights. Y'all know how big of a proponent I am when it comes to budget gear, budget lights. In fact, this shot is being lit by budget lights right now. There's a ton of scenarios for ourselves, for our social media, where budget gear is gonna hero, but it's probably not gonna be what a client is gonna request and pay for. I mean, it might be. Maybe they wanna save money too, but probably not. So with these two lights, I feel a lot more comfortable putting myself out there for paid services, whether that's lighting an interview or being like DOP for some short form content or whatever the case might be, right? These two lights specifically are not only two of the most advanced lights now that I own, but two of the most color accurate and advanced lights on the market for content creators today. Let's take our 100xS and new PT4c tube light from Amaran out for a test drive. But first, of course, do me a favor, if you dig this kind of content, hit that like button, consider subscribing, share, all that good stuff, and yeah, let's roll that intro card. Okay, so we got our first shot set up here. Now, I was gonna go over specs and numbers and stuff like that, but I got a little bit too excited and just set up the shot. I think this will better illustrate the point anyway. Now, this is a pretty standard interview setup. We've got an A cam and a B cam, and I wanted to get more straight ahead with the B cam so you can kind of get an idea of what some YouTube talking head might look like as well. For our lights, I like the setup. They're not bad lights, but we've got a newer CB100. It's a daylight tuned light up here. It's a COB light. We got it with a 90 centimeter softbox with a grid to prevent as much spill as we can. And at the angle we're at, we got a kind of a soft Rembrandt-like lighting here. And then I've got like a 3/4 backlight to get this edge going right here. It's an Ambitful A2 Pro is what it's called. It's a 60 centimeter 2-foot tube light, RGB. It's actually a really decent light for a budget light, and it's one of the most color accurate that I had. Anyway, that's enough rambling from me. I can't wait to get the Amaran up in here. Let's get it set up and see what the hype is all about. Okay, so here's our first setup. I've switched out the lights and I think it looks great. Talk about color accuracy now. Speaking of which, what am I talking about when I say color accuracy? When you have multiple lights all on different meters, matching them to each other, it starts to become a little bit difficult. With these two, I literally just set them both to the same temperature and they match. With a lot of other lights, that's just not gonna happen. Like my GVM lights, for example, you have to crank those up all to at least 65 for them even to be close to 56. There's some lights that suffer with, green magenta shift. You can combat that easily by staying within the same brand, because then they're all shifted somewhat equally, and you can use your hue shift in camera or in post. If you have different brands, then you're gonna have different levels of magenta, different levels of green, and it ends up just being an absolute pain in the butt. With these lights, it was super easy. Now, I've got the Sidus Link open, the Sidus Link app open right now. Let's switch this to 3200 into tungsten and see how that looks. Okay, and then just pause for a second and change my white balance. Hang on just a sec. Oh yeah, right off the bat, immediately looks just amazing. And I wanted to leave the B cam in regular 56K in daylight mode because you can see what a stark contrast it is. That's our white balance. Let's talk about what makes these lights better. What makes them more accurate? Well, first of all, what is color accuracy? That is being able to dial the color temperature or the RGB that you want and have it come out consistently. And it's also being able to produce a spectrographic output that's as close as possible to natural light. That way you can produce the most natural skin tones and other natural tones of your subjects. Now, what Aputure had done is they re-released their Amaran series with an even higher graded TLCI rating, which is your color accuracy. And I guess the way they did it is by adding another cool light diode. So instead of having a cool and a warm alone, you have two cools and a warm, and somehow that's able to produce a much closer rendition to that smooth curve on the spectrometer of tungsten, which is why not only are they accurate because they've spent so much time programming and tuning them thus, but why it's even more accurate in tungsten, which is where we're at now. I want to test out the PT4c. It's got some really just insanely gorgeous pixel effects. So let me break this down. Maybe we'll set up the tube as a key and use this as a backlight. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Give me a minute and let's check out the PT4c next. Okay, so we've got our shot set up, and I've got Sidus Link pulled up here on the iPad, and I just gotta say before we get started that this is like the most advanced, easiest, most intuitive app I think I've ever used for any light, and it's good for their entire ecosystem, all the Aputure and Amaran lights. I've got the shot set up here, and the PT4c and the pixel tubes have a really special way of doing the fire effect, so let's get that going now. So as you can see, this fire effect is absolutely stunning. They use the pixel mechanism to be able to affect fire in a way that no other light can. They have a vertical mode and horizontal mode, so we're gonna check how they're getting that done. Okay, so this looks at least just as good, if not even better, than the last configuration. And this is the only light that I know of that has multiple configurations, a horizontal mode and a vertical mode. Now, right now, we're in horizontal mode, and the tube light is much softer. So it's gonna be much better for close-ups. Let me turn on the 100xS for some fill right now, and we'll go into what exactly they're doing. Now, currently in the horizontal mode, the pixels are illuminating in a random fashion so that this side might be off and this side might be on, and vice versa. Fire's like that. Fire is random. Fire is not going to be so uniform. Now, for dialogue and any kind of up-close shot on a human face, soft light is almost always preferred. And so I think it's absolutely genius that they've decided to utilize the position in a completely different pixel configuration. Absolutely genius. Kudos, Amaran and Aputure, for coming up with that. Now, in the vertical position, just as incredibly genius, the bottom is illuminated pretty much 100% of the time, and the flames come up the tube. As you go from one side to the other, there's more and more and more flicker, just like a real flame, so that if you've got a bunch of people around the bonfire, their feet and their torso are pretty much going to be illuminated 100% of their time, but their face and their hat and their hands are going to be kind of bottom lit. and they're gonna be flickering much more. So absolutely genius. I don't know about y'all, but I don't often even use any of the effects on my lights. I don't think of a reason to, I don't have a reason to, but I actually want to think of reasons to use the effects in this. And they have a really great pixel chase, which I'll save for another video, but it's perfect for any kind of driving scenes or an elevator, for example, in the vertical position. As you can tell, I am thoroughly impressed with both of the 100xS and the PT4c. All right, thanks for sticking around till the end of the video. Let's talk about giveaway details. Now, we're on the road to 500 subs right now, so as soon as we cross that threshold, I'm gonna grab a random share notification, and one lucky subscriber is gonna win our starter content creator package I put together. Now, that consists of an extendable selfie stick, turns into a tripod. I'm also tossing in 4 lights, 2 pocket LEDs, and 2 tube lights. The one pocket LED is daylight, just for the brightness factor, but the rest are all RGB. Really fun set to work with. It was what I started on. Oh, sorry about the video last week. I know I said we'd be going out on a run and gun mission this week, but when I got these 2 lights in from Amaran, I couldn't help. I had to make a dedicated video, and you know, no regrets. I had a great time doing it. But we'll get back to the run and gun stuff next week. I've got all my little internal battery lights and all my run and gun gear out. Probably gonna be shooting reels on my favorite little bits and pieces of it this week. So if you got some value out of my content, if you dig making videos, if you dig watching videos about making videos, then I dare say you found your clan. It's great to have you. It's good to see you, and we will catch you next time right here at the Diamond Mine. Peace.